Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. I'm Hale. The word I'm about to release today has a very sobering tone as the Lord describes what we can expect in the days ahead. Just fair warning, what I heard him say paints a pretty bleak picture about what the people of earth will be experiencing during that time. But just know that he does speak of hope near the end. While receiving the word, I had a vision in which I was situated high above the earth, so high that it was as if my view was from outer space. I could see the earth was rotating on its axis. However, the entire globe began to move and travel through an expanse of space that was filled with darkness. As I continued watching, the earth finally crossed over what looked like a dividing line separating the two sections of space. And then I heard this. As the lofty continue their descent into the deep chasm of darkness, thus shall my remnant arise and come forth, shining like bright beacons of hope unto this world. For heavier shall become the blanket of despair that can even now be felt hanging overhead. And though some shall seek to find solace according to the pagan rituals of man, still shall their angst and distress persist without knowing any relief, as the peace they desire shall not be found through earthly means. Then since every attempt to find a lasting solution to ease their feelings of desperation shall fail, surely within those poor souls shall the dream of a better tomorrow disappear, for that future they believe to be a possibility shall evaporate into thin air. For to them, the circumstances of life will appear too big to overcome, and thus shall they sink into a pool of utter despair. Ah, then shall it be across the world that many are the number whose hearts will dwell in a despondent state, for they will be unable to see a way out of their predicament, as the enemy shall have boxed them in like a predator who has cornered its prey, leaving no visible means of escape. And since from the view of these miserable creatures there appears no rescue in sight, thus shall their state of despondency only worsen as the days seemingly drag on without end. Joy shall then be hard to find, for very few will have any reason to exude such jubilance, for surely shall much misery cover the face of the earth. Thus shall the sorrows of the oppressed be greatly multiplied, for those who perpetrate evil shall inflict undue hardship upon the people of earth, as these wicked men take great delight in the suffering and downfall of others. And so shall their reign of tyranny look as if it will go on indefinitely, for who has, as of yet, been able to overrule their authority? And since miracles appear to be in short supply, what hope is left for the world and its inhabitants? What challenger, though backed by the people, can actually defeat that band of despots and drive out their legion of treacherous thugs, since a vast number of these evil agents are shrouded behind a veil of darkness, and thus not easily detected by the naked eye? An impossible feat indeed. Ah, but what man deems to be a lost cause, am I able to resolve with ease, as it is still true that nothing is impossible for me. Yet who would believe this to be so, when very few of the vast population of the earth even know of my existence? For surely are most ignorant of the truth, and thus have been living from a position of misplaced hope, believing that the false gods they worship shall actually save them, not realizing that those deities to which they pay homage in reality are only after their destruction. Nevertheless, do these poor souls hold fast to their convictions, whether those be humanistic or religious in nature. Yet shall the beliefs of these poor souls soon come crashing down, for those in whom they entrusted their future shall not deliver as promised, leaving them feeling utterly abandoned and bearing a heavy sense of defeat, which in turn shall eventually lead to a bitter resignation. For they resign themselves, albeit reluctantly, to the idea that their life shall not ever change and will remain in a meager state for the rest of their days. Thus is the plight now facing humanity, for surely has there yet to be any recompense of the wicked, as those who, even right now, while carrying out all kinds of evil against the people of earth, are still moving forward with their wicked scheme. For though some have stood up to oppose them, none have been able to stop their advance, and so shall the battle over who controls the systems of man only intensify in the coming days, as the enemy ramps up his efforts to seize greater dominance over the world. Yet amongst all the turmoil and strife that lies just ahead for the nations of the earth, hope shall still abound. For out from the midst of those days of adversity shall a remnant of freedom fighters emerge, bringing with them the message of life everlasting. Thus shall they boldly proclaim from the rooftops and in the public squares that the kingdom of heaven is near. And so in the coming days shall many more be added to the household of God, for that remnant of faithful warriors have not neglected their call, that charge which was issued to every believer, which commands that they are to go and make disciples of all nations. And so, though darkness may for a time seem to be prevailing, it should be understood by my own that what the enemy has meant for evil, I intend for good and for the saving of many souls. Therefore, must these days of adversity come upon the earth, for its added stressors shall act as the catalyst which readies the multitudes of humanity to receive the message of my kingdom, and thus turn to me and be saved. So though the thought of enduring more adverse days may fill some of my children with a sense of dread, their focus should not be upon themselves, nor the trials they may encounter. Instead, should their attention be lifted upward and centralized upon the matters of my kingdom, meaning their chief concern should be the advancement of my cause, and thus seek to partner with the work I am currently doing in the earth. Then it is with joyous anticipation that my own should greet the adversity which lies just ahead, as you are about to encounter a mighty work of my hand, the likes of which has never before been seen upon the earth. Therefore rejoice and be glad, for it is this generation of the elect that I have chosen to participate in this great harvest of souls. Therefore do not become dejected as the state of the world seems to worsen, but instead remember what was foretold to you, then prepare to witness the miraculous. For I tell you now that this supernatural occurrence shall impact the world in such a way that its entire trajectory shifts back into alignment with my will. Surely amongst the newly converted shall there be found people of influence and authority, even one or maybe two who bear the title head of state. Then do I say, even now rejoice and be glad, for you indeed are a chosen generation of the elect, and as such should consider yourselves highly favored and greatly blessed. Thanks again for joining me today.